Data from the Leo study shows that 6.2 million German-speaking adults are currently in the workforce, despite lacking basic reading and writing skills. This structure categorizes literacy into alpha levels. At levels 1 and 2, a person recognizes isolated characters, disconnected from contextual meaning. Levels 3 and 4 represent the ceiling. While an individual might decode a simple sentence, complex texts, like a work contract, dissolve into fragments, preventing functional comprehension. This exists as a quiet, systemic blind spot. These are individuals who navigate a text-heavy society every day, relying on memory and routine rather than the written word. To protect their standing with employers and family, many develop precise routines to hide their struggle. They might claim they forgot their glasses to avoid a form, or memorize the layout of a grocery store to avoid reading labels. This creates a logistical vacuum for these adults. Standard government alerts or official notices rely on the printed word, which means the most critical information appears as a blur of unreadable characters. Traditional recruitment for adult education assumes a student who is willing to identify themselves. Here, the target audience is often actively working to remain invisible. The challenge isn't the mechanics of teaching the alphabet. It is designing a point of contact for people who have spent years perfecting their disappearance from the written world. In 2016, Germany launched the Alpha Decade, a 10-year coordinated strategy between the federal government and the states to address this gap in the workforce. This strategy is powered by supranational funding from the European Social Fund, or ESF. The ESF is a regional investment tool used by the European Union to support employment and education projects across member states. To bypass the need for reading, the program uses the Alpha Telephone and Alpha Mobile. These are audio-based and in-person services that allow people to seek help through conversation rather than written applications. They also introduced the AlphaBot, an automated messenger. It uses a voice-to-text interface, allowing a person to speak their questions into a phone and receive audio guidance, removing the social friction of admitting a struggle to a human being. By prioritizing anonymity and audio interfaces, the system creates an entry point that respects the user's need for privacy. The physical classrooms for these efforts are provided by the Volkshochschulen, Germany's established network of adult education centers that have historically served as the backbone for community learning. Teaching an adult requires a shift in approach. These students bring decades of life experience to the classroom, but often carry specific anxieties about returning to a school environment that previously failed them. The Pro-Grundbildung qualification was developed to train teachers in these specific needs. It provides educators with the psychological tools to handle the sensitivities of adult learners. Modern diagnostics like O2.lia avoid a one-size-fits-all curriculum. This matrix shows how the software identifies specific gaps, like vowel clusters or sentence structure, allowing the teacher to focus only on what the student hasn't already mastered. This targeted instruction acknowledges the student's existing knowledge while addressing their precise linguistic needs. Alphabetization now covers multiple literacy domains. This includes financial literacy for managing bank accounts and health literacy for understanding medical instructions. Workplace portals and state services also require KI literacy, or artificial intelligence literacy. This is the ability to understand and use the automated digital interfaces that now govern most modern administrative tasks. In a digital society, these critical skills determine whether an individual can navigate state services independently or maintain long-term employment. In 2026, the current funding mandate for the Alpha Decade reaches its legal conclusion. If this temporary support expires without a new agreement, the specialized diagnostic tools and regional centers would lose their operational budgets. To prevent this, there is a movement toward Regelförderung, a shift where literacy support becomes a permanent, legally mandated part of the state's education budget, similar to primary schools. True inclusion requires an infrastructure that outlasts a single decade. It requires a permanent commitment to ensuring every citizen can access and participate in the written world.